Good afternoon, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning in. A special warm welcome and a big thank you to all the wonderful new subscribers. I hope you enjoy this content and that you use it to improve your life. So today's topic of conversation is going to be the narcissistic spectrum. And I want to start off just by saying that if I do look down, I'm going to just read on my notes. This is the same experience that you would get if you were to join me in my office. So I like to keep it as authentic as possible. So please do not think strange if I look down. I just want to make sure that I give you the correct information, and it is very important to use the correct language as well. So I have everything written down here, and I'm going to be referring to it throughout all my videos. So let's start with what is referred to as healthy narcissism. Now, all of us do possess a form of narcissism. The only distinction is it used to harm others or not? When it's not used to harm others, then it is to our benefit. So what do I mean by that? We all possess or should possess, I'm not telling anybody what to do or what not to do, but we all should possess a healthy form of self-worth and self-confidence. And with that, together with that goes healthy boundaries and self-care routines. In other words, where we take time out of the day or once a week just to take care of ourselves. And then also emotional regulation. What is meant by emotional regulation? Emotional regulation comes into play when you try as best as you can. It's not always possible, especially when you are a parent. You do lose it from time to time. But to be aware of your emotions and to be as calm and as responsive as possible. In other words, you don't just react to each and every situation. You think about it calmly and you are able to regulate yourself emotionally so that your emotions don't spiral out of control. Okay, so that's what's referred to as a healthy dose of narcissism. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you get pathological narcissism, which is the unhealthy component of narcissism, which is then likened unto the narcissistic personality disorder. So this is characterized by a condition where self-esteem is excessively inflated or deeply fragile, leading to harmful behaviors and attitudes. And this is done consistently. And therefore, it's a mental health condition. So I did refer to the DSM-5 in my previous video about the characteristics of narcissism that they state therein. And they talk about grandiosity and entitlement. So this is an exaggerated sense. Okay, this is not the normal healthy self-worth. This is exaggerated. And it's also a deep need for excessive attention and admiration. And they do believe that they are superior unto others and they are entitled to special treatment. And this is, of course, without regard for anybody else's feelings. So it's just all about them, what they want, and when they want it, and they want it now. And obviously the big marker that goes with that is lack of empathy. In other words, they will... they struggle to understand. Oh, this is what it says here. They struggle to understand, which I don't think they do struggle to understand. It's a choice that is ultimately made, but they struggle to understand or care about the feelings or perspectives of others. And that's often exploiting relationships for their own gain. And also the lack of empathy can lead to manipulative, deceitful, and even abusive behaviors. And then they have a very fragile self-esteem. So despite their outward displays of confidence, which they can come across as very confident people, knowing exactly what they're talking about, but hidden inside is a very, very fragile self-esteem, and they are highly sensitive to criticism, and they may react with anger, resentment, or withdrawal when their self-image is challenged. This fragility can drive them to seek constant validation from others, leading to unhealthy relationships and behaviors. And then all of this leads to dysfunctional relationships. Because these individuals suffering from narcissistic personality disorder, they struggle with intimacy, trust, and genuine connection. Their need for control and admiration can lead to cycles of idealization and devaluation in relationships where partners are alternately praised and criticized based on their ability to meet the narcissist's needs. Then we talk a little bit about narcissistic behaviors. So what can be classified as mild narcissistic traits would be situational narcissism, which are temporary displays of narcissism and just occur in specific situations or with regards to specific individuals. For instance, if they're in a competitive environment or something like that, then they will display situational narcissism. Developmental narcissism is mild narcissism, which is also a normal part of development, particularly in adolescence and early childhood. During these stages, individuals are often focused on self-discovery and identity formation, which can lead to increased self-centeredness as they mature. Most people develop a more balanced sense of self. Then you get moderate narcissistic traits, which are attention-seeking behaviors and difficulty with criticism. Then you get severe narcissistic traits, which are exploitation and manipulation, chronic insecurity, and interpersonal conflicts as well. Now, I'm just covering the headings here because as these talks progress, I will dive deeper into the specific aspects of all of this and what all of this means. So bear with me, or fast forward, or don't watch these beginning videos if you find it boring, but I promise you it will all come together in the end, and then you will see why I started with the boring information first. There can also be situations where cultural and societal influences can play a role in narcissism or the formation of narcissism. I'm not going to go too much into that because it's not really too relevant to what I want to specifically concentrate on. But just know there is a factor that can play a role, that can make a difference according to the experts. Then I just want to quickly talk about Stockholm Syndrome, which is connected to narcissistic abuse. Sometimes you will find people are stuck in relationship for years and years and years and years and years, and they cannot break free from that relationship. They have maybe tried in the past, or they are too afraid to try, and they just simply cannot break free from the relationship, and their friends or family don't understand why. So I want to just quickly explain Stockholm Syndrome. Now you can all look this up on Wikipedia. It's information that's readily available, so I'm not sucking anything out of my thumb. Stockholm Syndrome is a proposed condition or theory that tries to explain why hostages sometimes develop a psychological bond with their captors. It is supposed to result from a rather specific set of circumstances, namely the power imbalances contained in hostage-taking, kidnapping, and abusive relationships. Therefore, it's difficult to find a large number of people who experience Stockholm Syndrome to conduct studies with any sort of validity or sample size. But the name Stockholm Syndrome comes from the fact that there was a robbery in Stockholm in 1973. There was a bank robbery, and the bank robbers held the hostages inside the bank for 6 days. And afterwards, when everything was over, none of the hostages would testify in court against any of the robbers or the kidnappings. And the public could not understand, why is this? How is this possible? It was clearly, done to manipulate or to hurt the victims, and why would they not come forward and get justice for what happened to them? So there are 4 key components that characterize Stockholm Syndrome. A hostage's development of positive feelings towards the captor, no previous relationships between the hostage and the captor, a refusal by hostage to cooperate with the police and other government authorities, and then a hostage's belief in the humanity of the captor, ceasing to perceive them as a threat, and the victim holds the same values as the aggressor. So this is the definition in a nutshell of Stockholm Syndrome, but it is very relevant to narcissistic abuse, because you can replace the words hostage with a victim and then captor with narcissistic abuse, and then you can make the deduction, why is it not so easy for people to leave the abusive relationship? So that covers today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. In my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the cycle of abuse. That's also very important to consider. And then we will continue our talk. So thank you for being here today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please do share my videos if you feel that they resonated with you. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.